to be a successful spray foam contractor doing commercial construction, there's the ultimate goal is really you have to be able to provide the lowest installed cost price that's accurate for the scope of work that's required and that has been described within the plans and specifications for that project. But part of that, before you can really get into that, it's really important that a spray foam contractor really truly understands their business, and you'd be surprised how many don't. But you really truly have to understand your material and labor costs, when you need to escalate costs, what's your true overhead, your insurance. You need to have some understanding of prevailing wages, because there will be some projects where those acts will come into place. You really have to truly understand your capacity, your scheduling. You need to have a health and safety program. You have to understand quality assurance, progress billing. I mean, there's a lot of factors that come into play on a commercial project.
Yeah. So Brian, let me
residential.
Let me ask you a question on that. So if you're a contractor and if you don't know those things, I imagine that's when you start getting yourself into trouble. And you've probably known a number of contractors over the years that tried to make that leap from the residential to the commercial side and struggled with some of those points you just brought up, and because of that, potentially even put them out of business. Is that accurate? Like you can really get yourself.
It can be a very scary scenario. I mean, if you make that transition from residential to commercial, and you think you can bid it the same way, you're probably going to blow your brains out. And I have seen some very good residential contractors nearly put themselves out of business by not understanding what's required when bidding a commercial project, because they are two totally different animals. How you get paid is differently. Everything is so vastly different. So it's really, really to understand that business part of it before you even open up a set of plans and specs.
Yeah.
So it is different.
Is there a particular size of is it a size of contractor? Like what makes it, when somebody's looking to make that transition, is it, hey, is it a 3 rig, or is it a matter of how many rigs you have, or maybe it's also, I guess, depending on what kind of commercial work you're going after. But, do you have
so exactly. It really depends on I mean, that I go back to what I was mentioning earlier. You really have to understand what your capacity is. And if you're bidding on a small commercial institutional project that is like a 10-set job, probably you're going to be, you're a 1 or 2 rig guy. But if you're bidding on something that like a school that requires 40 or 50 or 60 sets of foam, are you going to be able to do that with 2 rigs, knowing that you got 1 rig dedicated to something else and this other rig has to be available when you're going to be allowed to spray on that particular job 6-8 months down the road? So yeah, there's really no there's no chart, put it that way,
on how big you have to be.
On how big you have to be. Again, it's really just truly understanding what you're capable of doing with how many rigs you got, and being realistic about it. That's really what it is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So do you have like a top 10 list or top 3 list of, hey, I'm a spray foam contractor and I want to get in the commercial work. What are the top 3 things I must do, or top 5 things? Do you have a list like that, or where do you kind of start with it?
Absolutely. So again, the ultimate goal is to be able to provide that lowest installed cost price to the general contractor. That's really what you're trying to achieve here. And there are a number of factors, there are a number of things that you need to have. And obviously, it may sound stupid, but one of the most important things is make sure that you have access to the complete set of bid documents. That's not just if a general contractor sends you an elevation and a cross section, go ahead and bid the job, because sure enough, you'll probably blow your brains out. You need to really have the entire set of plans, the entire set of specifications, because without that, you can't really assess the project. Secondly, I mean, once you have access, can you actually interpret them? Can you read the drawings? to really understand where the spray foam is required. Because if you can't do that, then you're not going to be able to provide or be able to do that accurate quantity takeoff. So that's really, really key.
Now, on that particular point right there, how does that differ from your typical residential house? So, like, I'm a contractor, and I'm really good at reading residential drawings. Am I really, is there really that much difference between that residential and that commercial project?
Well, if you look at a residential project, I bet you the complete set of plans is an elevation, one cross section, a floor plan, and maybe 2 other sheets. So a complete set of architectural plans for a residence, it probably consists of 7 to 8 drawings. Whereas if you look at a school project, the complete set of plans is probably 70 to 80 pages of drawings. So, and you will find product that be drawn and specified all over the place in those 70 drawings. You have to be able to find out, which are the important drawings, where do you look, how do you find them?
Okay.
So yeah, it is a completely different animal, because you will see things drawn on drawings. You may actually see foam drawn on a structural drawing that you have probably never looked at before, and that's just the nature of the business.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really really important that you be able to interpret the full architectural set of plans. And again, the second thing is being able to understand the specifications. That's probably one of the biggest downfalls I've seen in a lot of commercial contractors, is they'll read the plans and it says 2 inches of closed cell foam underneath the roof deck. That's what they'll see in the drawings, and they'll bid it that way. Then you get to the plans and the specifications, and the specs say something totally different. And the law of rule on plans and specifications is that the specifications always overrule the plans. So you really have to understand what's in the specifications, because you'll find things, what are the requirements for submittals, what are the requirements for quality assurance and warranties, mock-ups, what's the actual product performance criteria, because if you don't understand that, how are you going to be able to pick which is the best SWD product from our portfolio that's going to be the best suited for that project? It's really, really important to understand that. And finally, the execution. What is actually required for the site application of that product? Again, it's understanding, am I going to need staging and scaffolding, hoarding? What's the access to the site? Are there other surrounding buildings? There's all these other factors that you truly have to understand. Can I park? I mean, something as simple as that. When am I allowed to park on that job site? Because they may be limited access. So there's all sorts of things that you really, really have to understand. So until if you can't read the specifications, that's a very dangerous thing, not being able to understand those specifications, understand what's in there, and be able to price that accordingly to the project.